This week's reading discusses the case of an accidental murder. It teaches that there's no full punishment for murder. Murder is a capital offense in the Torah system of jurisprudence. A person who commits accidental murder is not liable for punishment of death, but instead is sent to exile. Now, it seems unfair at first blush. What does it mean? That I should be punished for an accident? Well, the truth is it's not an accident. It's what we'd call carelessness. Manslaughter, maybe they call it in modern terms. If it's a freak occurrence that could not have been foreseen, could not have been prevented under any reasonable circumstances, there's no punishment whatsoever. A person doesn't have to go into exile, nothing. If, however, it's a case of accident insofar as I was careless, I didn't intend to kill someone, but I should have known better. The example that's often given is a person goes out into the forest and he's chopping wood and the axe head flies off the axe and smacks somebody else. Well, I was using faulty equipment. I didn't intend to kill him. I didn't hate him. I didn't wish him dead. It's a tragedy. I feel sad. I feel sorry. Maybe I'm traumatized even, but it's kind of my fault. I didn't mean to kill him, but really, you should have been much more careful, shouldn't you? Yes, I should have. So, I take the blame for the fact that this man is now dead. It teaches the extent of how careful we humans have to be. We are rational creatures. We can foresee consequences to our actions that would not necessarily be immediately apparent to life forms with lesser intelligence. Since we have that intelligence, there's a greater responsibility. You can't just say, oh, well, I didn't mean to. It was an accident. My kids try that when they're very young. Oh, I did it on accident. It was like, yeah, you did it by accident. Wonderful. That doesn't change the fact that there are consequences. You need to learn to foresee that sort of thing. When you're a child, maybe you can't, but when you get to be a grown adult, I hope to get to that point someday. Similarly, this week's reading also mentions the case of what's known as the Egla Arufa, the decapitated calf. Pleasant topic. If a person is found dead, murdered, somewhere out in the open, we don't know who killed this person. We measure out to the nearest city, and the elders of that city have to bring a calf. There's a whole ritual procedure to it. Why the nearest city? Because most likely he came from the nearest city. We don't know who did it. He could have come from any city, but just logic indicates that it's most likely to have come from the nearest city. The sages, the elders, the court of that town, have to come out, and there's a ritual they perform. It includes washing their hands symbolically to clean themselves of any guilt. And they say, we have not been responsible for what happened to this person. Our hands did not spill this blood. To which the sages rightly ask, do we honestly suspect that it was the court that were responsible for this man's death? Some random brigand, robber, or highwayman? But the court have to say we were not responsible for his death, we didn't kill him? It's like, no, you might not have killed him overtly, but maybe he came to your town, and he was a guest, and you didn't take care of him. He left dejected. Or maybe you didn't escort him on his way. You didn't make sure that all of his needs were taken care of and that he was safe, and that he had a safe journey ahead of him. You didn't prepare him appropriately. You didn't look out for his needs. That's an act of omission, in effect. And even if it weren't the sages themselves, it was some rando, an average citizen in the town. Well, the elders of the town are responsible for setting an example for proper behavior, and to ensuring that people follow that proper behavior. And if someone in your town didn't, under your watch, you are, albeit indirectly, responsible. Even if it's indirect, and even if it's by omission rather than by act. Somebody just wasn't careful enough. And it wasn't even you. But you're in that leadership position, you're responsible. Once again, showing the extent to how careful we have to be. Look, we can't always do everything. And again, as I mentioned with the accidental murder, if it's a freak occurrence that could never have been anticipated, there's no responsibility whatsoever, because how could I? And that's fair. We're not angels. The Torah was not given to the angels, but it was given to humans. Humans who have a rational mind, can anticipate, can project, and should look out for things like this, and should look out for each other. So think to yourself, is there anything that I could plan ahead in my life? Is there anybody out there who may be needing something, even if it's subtle, barely discernible? Maybe I should pay attention to that. Maybe I should look out for other people. And maybe I need to look out for myself as well. Shabbat Shalom.